Chon Ha-yoon died quickly. Not painfully, he simply switched off. Heart, the doctors would have said later if they had been nearby. 34 years old paleontologist had just defended his doctoral thesis on late Paleolithic Homo sapiens. He died in the university library, head on a book about hunter-gatherers. Irony was the last thing he managed to think before the darkness. Then another darkness, then light. Not soft, sharp, hot, real. The sun at its zenith, unfamiliar and familiar at the same time. The smell of grass, earth, something animal. A sharp, unprocessed smell of a world without chemistry. Sounds of birds, not urban, different. Huge, unfamiliar voices. The chirping of insects thicker in the air. Chon Ha-yoon opened his eyes. Above him was the sky. Blue as he had never seen it. Not a cloud. The sun a little bigger than he remembered. Or it just seemed so. He sat up, looked around. A plain. The grass was tall up to his waist. In the distance, trees. Not ordinary, huge, with wide crowns. Behind the trees, mountains. The body was different. Young. He felt muscles he didn't know about. Strong hands. Not the hands of a doctor of sciences who sat more than he moved. A different body. A different world. Clothes lay nearby. His were gone. Something like a hide, roughly processed. Pants and a cloak. Primitive, but there. He stood up, examined himself. A man. Young, about 25. Tall, 1.85 meters. Dark hair, strong build. Skin swarthy, weathered. This is not me. This is a new body. Somewhere in his head, everything remained. Knowledge, memory, 8 years of studying prehistoric cultures. Paleolithic, Neolithic, hunting, gathering, primitive agriculture. If this is what I think, then I ended up in exactly the era I studied. Perfect. Terrible. Both words at once. He heard a sound. Behind him, he turned around. 3 figures from the tall grass. Women, all 3 tall, strong, with spears. Dressed the same as him in hides, no metal. Hair braided tightly. Faces dark from the sun, expression not simple. They looked at him, he at them. Huntresses. Clearly knew how to use spears, stance correct. Women without men. Interesting. One said something, sharp, short. He didn't understand the language. He raised his hands, open palms. The huntress said something else. To the other 2, not to him. Those moved from the sides, surrounding him, well-trained or experienced. Ha-yoon stood. Run? Where to? I am alone in an unknown prehistoric world. Alone. Captivity is not the best option, but better than loneliness in this world. He slowly sat down on the ground, lowered his hands, showed that he would not resist. The huntress spoke again, in a different tone, surprised. She approached, stood in front of him, looked down from above. Young, about 20 years old, scar on her cheek, eyes sharp, attentive, intelligent. She poked him in the shoulder with the spear, not hard, checking the reaction. Ha-yoon did not move, once more a little stronger. He raised his gaze to her, calmly. Something in her face changed. She said something commanding to the other 2. They took out a rope. Expected captivity. It begins. They led him for 2 days. Hands tied in front, not cruelly, securely. They walked quickly. The huntresses knew the way, moved confidently. They bypassed some places, stopped, listened. Experience. They know this territory like their own home. Ha-yoon walked and looked. Memorized. Flora mixed. He saw plants he recognized, primitive types of cereals, wild grapes. No, not grapes. Something similar. Some trees familiar, some not. Fauna. He heard something large at night. It did not attack. The huntresses were not frightened, but fell silent. Means they are not at the top of the food chain. Climate warm, dry. Something like savanna with forests. Not the Ice Age means not the earliest Paleolithic. On the second day, the smell of smoke. Then sounds. Voices many. All female. The tribe appeared behind the hill. Ha-yoon stopped. The huntress with the scar pushed him in the back. Walk. He walked and looked. A camp. 40-50 people, all women. There were children, small ones, running around. But the children were also all from women. Not a single adult man. Interesting. Dwellings primitive. Huts made of branches and hides. Not permanent, portable structures. Nomads or semi-nomads. Fire, several bonfires. Cooking food. Smell of meat. The women noticed him. Stopped. Looked. Reactions different. Surprise, wariness. One shouted something and laughed. Others answered, also laughter. At him. Good. Laughter is not aggression. The huntress with the scar led him to the center of the camp. There was a large stone on which an elderly woman sat. Old, about 60 by appearance. For this world, very old. Wrinkled, small, but gazed like a blow. Elder. Leader. The huntress spoke. For a long time. The elder listened without interrupting. Looked at Ha-un. Finished. The elder was silent. Then one question. To the huntress. She answered. Showed Ha-un's hands, how he walked, how he sat on the ground when he raised his palms, telling that I did not resist. The elder looked at him, said something directly to him. He did not understand. Again palms forward, shook his head. I don't understand. The elder narrowed her eyes, said something again. Ha-un pointed at himself, then at her, then hands to the sides questioningly. Who are you? The elder paused, then something short to the huntress. She pushed him toward a separate hut at the edge of the camp, untied his hands, threw inside a piece of tough, half-raw meat, left. Outside, 2 huntresses stood at the entrance. Captivity. But they feed him, did not kill him, thinking what to do with him. Ha-un sat down, took the meat, ate not because it was tasty, but because it was necessary. Thinking. What do I know? A tribe consisting only of women. They hunt well. Nomads. The elder is smart. The huntress with the scar is young, fast, a leader among the huntresses. What do I need? To survive. To become useful. Otherwise they will leave without me or worse. How to become useful? I will show what I can do. What I can do? Knowledge. 8 years of studying prehistoric cultures. I know how they made fire before flint. I know the basics of agriculture. I know how to process hides properly. I know medicinal plants of this era if they are here. Problem. Language. I don't understand them. They don't understand me. Means the first task is to learn the language. Or explain without words. He lay down, looked at the ceiling of the hut. Prehistoric world, tribe of Amazons, captivity, living interestingly. For 3 days he sat in the hut. Guard outside. Food once a day, always the same meat. They brought water. He watched, listened, worked on the language, method, observation, saw an action, heard a word, repeated to himself, nowhere to write down, memorized. First words by the end of the 2nd day. Fire, water, meat, woman. This word often. One word apparently the name of the tribe, or simply people. 2 different words for yes, affirmative, and agreement with an order. 1 word for no, sharp. On the 3rd day, the huntress with the scar came herself, stood at the entrance, looked. Ha-un looked back. She said something. To the 2 of them, unclear what. Ha-un pointed at her, questioningly. She frowned. He repeated, pointed at himself, said his name, Ha-un. Pointed at her, questioningly. Pause. Kyra, she said. Name, first contact. Kyra, he repeated. She did not smile, but something in her face changed. Stepped back. Small step. 4th day, something simple happened. One of the bonfires in the camp went out. At night it rained, extinguished it. In the morning, commotion. The women tried to light it again. Flint, tinder, nothing. Firewood damp. Ha-un watched through a crack in the hut. I see the problem. I know the solution. He stood up. The guard tensed. Ha-un raised his palms, slowly, pointed at the bonfire, pointed at himself. Tried to say the word he had heard. Fire. The guard looked. Called someone. Kyra came. Ha-un repeated the gesture. Bonfire, I can. Kyra looked for a long time, nodded. They let him out. Not freed, let out with guard. Brought to the bonfire where the women unsuccessfully tried to light it. Stopped, looked. Ha-un squatted, examined the place. Firewood wet. Flint is there. Tinder bad, also damp. What is needed, dry tinder. Find it. Raised his gaze to Kyra. Showed, I am looking for something. Can I step away? Kyra nodded to the guards. They followed. Ha-un went to the trees at the edge of the camp. Searched. Rotten tree inside dry even after rain. Here, found it. Returned to the bonfire. Tinder from dry rot in his hand. Took flint from one of the women. She gave it with surprise. Squatted. Worked methodically. Correct angle. Correct force. I know the theory. Did it in practical classes for students. 3 strikes. 4. Spark on the tinder. Blew carefully. Smoke. Then fire. Small but fire. Transferred to the bonfire. Carefully. Fed small chips first, then larger ones. The bonfire flared up. Silence around. The women watched. Ha-un stood up. Brushed off his knees. Looked at Kyra. She looked at him with an expression he had not yet seen on her. Not wariness, something else. Thinking. After a week, Ha-un began to understand simple phrases. After 2, he answered. Badly with mistakes, but answered. The language turned out to be simple structurally. Verbs without changes, word order rigid, context more important than grammar. Kyra began to come every day. At first she watched silently, then asked questions, short ones. Where are you from? Far away, said Ha-un. Very far. Pause. I came alone. A man alone is stupidity, said Kyra. I agree. She frowned. Did not expect agreement. Why alone? It just happened, he said. Not to explain about reincarnation. They won't understand, won't believe. Later. Where are the other men of your tribe? No tribe. Everyone has a tribe. I don't have one. Kyra looked at him piercingly, looking for a lie. I'm not lying, just incomplete truth. You know how to make fire quickly, she said finally. That's good. I know a lot, said Ha-un. For example? Pause. I can show, if you allow. Kyra stood up, went to the exit, stopped. Tomorrow, she said. First agreement. At night, he thought, what to show first? What would be most useful right now? Immediately, obviously. Problems he saw during a week of observations. First, fire. Already solved partially. Second, hides. They process them poorly. Thin hides tear, coarse ones uncomfortable. I know a tanning method that is an order of magnitude better than what they do. Third, hunting. Spears are good, but they almost don't use traps. Only direct hunting. They lose a lot of energy. Fourth, food. Only meat and what they gather. I haven't seen them prepare cereals and they are around the camp. Wild. Fifth, water. They carry it in leather bags from the river. Far away. No system. Sixth, medicine. No. I saw one woman with an inflamed leg that gave her some grass to chew. Helps weekly. 7 problems, 7 solutions. Not all at once, one by one. First, the most visible. Hides. I will show hide processing. This is every day. This is for everyone. This they will understand immediately. In the morning, Kyra came. Ready? Ready. They let him out already without rope on his hands. There was guard but free hands. Small progress? They brought a fresh hide. Just from the hunt, dear. Women around watched. The elder also came. Sat on her stone to the side. Watched. Ha-un took the hide. Examined it. Skinned roughly. But the material is good. Asked with signs for oak bark. Pointed at that tree, far end of the camp. Kyra sent someone. They brought it. Ha-un began. Tanning. Tannins from the bark. Soak the hide. Process the flesh side. Bark in water for a long time. But the result is incomparable. He worked. Explained poorly. Language was not enough. Showed with hands, gestures, examples. Kyra watched very attentively. Once she came closer. Touched how he processed the hide. Understood the principle. Smart. Grasps quickly. Worked for 3 hours. The result will be visible in a few days. Explained it as best he could. Not now, he said. In many suns you will see. How many suns? 5, 6. Kyra not convinced. It was clear. Tomorrow I will show something else, said Ha-un. What? Traps for animals. Kyra narrowed her eyes. You know hunting? A little, said Ha-un. A little, to put it mildly. I know the theory of trapping hunting better than most people of this era. We'll see, said Kyra. Turned, left. The next day they left the camp. First time in 2 weeks, not just the camp. Ha-un, Kyra, 4 huntresses. Without ropes, but Kyra walked nearby, spear in hand, not freed. Went out on business, doesn't matter. Forest. Real. Alive. He looked at everything. Trees, I recognize several species. There's willow by the stream. There's something like wild nut. There are tall grass with grains. Wheat? No, predecessor. Wild. Marking mentally. Found a place. Animal trail. Visible trampled grass, tracks, droppings? Here, he said. Kara looked at the trail. She also saw it. Experienced hunter. We know this place, she said. We hunt here. Not hunting, trap, said Ha-un. Began to explain. Loop from strong vine, set on the trail. Animal walks, gets caught by paw or neck. No need to wait, no need to chase. Principle, passive hunting. Traps work while the hunter does something else. Showed with hands, demonstration. Cut the vine with a knife he didn't have. Asked. Kara handed her knife. Stone, but well made. Skill. Braided the loop. Set it. Explained how to check. Kyra watched, then made her own loop copying. Almost correct the first time. Slightly corrected. Learns from one glance. Rarity. Will we return here, she asked. Tomorrow. Maybe there will be an animal. The next day there was a hare in the loop. Large. The huntresses watched silently. Kyra took the hare, examined the loop. Ha-un waited. Will you teach everyone, she asked finally. Yes. She looked at him for a long time. Something is changing. Slowly, but changing. After a month, Ha-un was called to the elder. Officially. Kyra came, said, Naya calls. Naya is the elder's name. He learned late. They spoke about her rarely and always simply the old one. He came. Naya sat by a large bonfire. Alone, the other women kept to the side. Respect or order, unclear, sat opposite. Naya looked. For a long time. Ha-un did not avert his gaze. She is assessing. Don't rush. You have been here 1 month, said Naya. Slowly he already understood well. Showed fire, hides, traps. Yes? Why are you helping? Direct question. Because I am alone, said Ha-un. Alone in this world, I will die. With the tribe I live. We don't need a man, said Naya. We have lived without men for a long time. I know. Why leave you? Here is the main question. I am showing new things, said Ha-un. Traps you now have. Hides in 2 days you will see the difference. This is small. I know more. What more? I found plants by the stream, he said. Grains. From grains you can make food a lot for a long time. Not hunting, the land gives. Pause. I know how to treat wounds better. I know how to build housing that stands winter and summer. Pause. I know a lot. Naya was silent. Where do you know from? Again this question. I was taught, he said. Taught for a long time. Different people. Not quite a lie. Read, studied, knew. Where are your teachers? Dead, he said. Truth in some sense. Naya looked. Probed with her gaze, but not hostile. Thinking. The hides will be ready in 2 days, she said finally. Yes, if the hides are good, we will talk more. A probation period. Good, said Ha-un. In 2 days, the hide is ready. Brought to Naya. The tribe gathered. Saw something important. Naya took the hide, squeezed it, pulled it. Smelled. The smell was almost completely gone with proper tanning. Looked. Passed to an elderly woman nearby. She clearly handled hides in the tribe. She took it, felt it, looked for a long time. Said something to Naya. Ha-un heard one word. Good. Naya looked at him. You will stay, she said. Not an invitation, a statement. Thank you, said Ha-un. This is not kindness to you, Naya corrected. This is benefit to us, I understand. Kara is over you. What she says you listen to. Supervision, but freedom of movement, accepted. Kyra with him now every day. In the morning they walked in the forest. He showed plants, explained. The language grew. Every day new words. A month after arrival he spoke normally, with accent and mistakes. But understandably, Kyra was not as silent as she seemed at first. Spoke a lot when the topic was interesting. Asked sharp questions. Does this plant treat? She asked once. Showed wide, dark leaves. No. Poisonous, said Ha-un. How do you know? Saw how animals avoid it. And I know from textbooks. When animals don't eat it, it is usually dangerous for people. Not always. Not always. He agreed. Need to know, Kyra thought. One woman in our tribe died 3 winters ago. Ate something unknown. Pause. Could we have known? We could, said Ha-un. I will show what you can, what you can't. To everyone in the tribe. Kyra nodded. Did not say thank you. That is not in her character. But nodded. That is more. Once they stopped by the river. Kyra looked at the water. Where are you really from? She asked. Without warning, I said far away. There is no tribe that taught you all this, said Kyra. Not an accusation. Observation. Tribes teach hunting, war, rituals. Pause. Not hides and plants and traps and everything at once. Smart. Very smart. You are right, said Ha-un. Then where from? Pause. I came from another place, he said slowly. Not another tribe. Another time. Kyra looked. Time does not exist differently. I know this sounds strange. Sounds like madness. I know. Pause. Long one, the river flowed. You are not mad, said Kyra finally. No. Then another time. She does not believe in the literal sense, but accepts that she will not get the full truth, and does not press. Respect. Kyra, what? I will help your tribe. For real. Pause. Not because I have to. I want to. Why do you want? Good question. Why? Because I know what will happen to people who do not develop, he said. Others will come. Stronger. Kill or take. Pause. I don't want this to happen to you. Kyra looked at the water for a long time. Others have already come to us, she said quietly. Another tribe. Men. Pause. 3 winters ago. From then on, only women. From then on, the scar on Kyra's cheek. Ha-un said nothing. Sometimes silence is better than words. 2 months after arrival. Ha-un asked Naya for 2 days and 2 women to work by the stream. Naya gave. Reluctantly. Took Kyra and a young woman named Lu, strong, hard-working, with eternally curious eyes. Went to the thickets of wild cereal grass by the stream. Why here? Asked Lu. Direct. Even more direct than Kyra. Food is here, said Ha-un. Showed the grass. Here. Lu looked at the grass. At him. At the grass. This is grass. This is grain. Ha-un cut several stems with panicles. Look, showed the grains in the ear. Rubbed between fingers. Smelled. Do they eat this? After processing, yes. Pause. This is the basis. From this you can feed the whole tribe the whole winter. Kyra was silent. Looked. How? Gather. Dry. Pound. Mix with water. Heat. Flatbread. The simplest bread product. Show. Worked 2 days. Gathered a lot of grain, as much as they could. Dried on stones by the water. Pounded with flat stones. Primitive mill. Later we will make better. First the principle. By the evening of the 2nd day, Ha-un baked the first flatbread, on a hot stone by the fire. The smell spread through the camp. Women approached, looked. Ha-un broke the flatbread. Extended it to Naya. She came herself, smelled it. She took a piece, smelled it, tried it, chewed slowly. Silence in the camp. What is this? She asked finally. Food from grass, said Ha-un. Grain. Grass is food? This grass, yes. And here's what is important. Pause. Not only gather, you can plant. Plant grass, plant grain to get more grain. Every year more. Not search, grow. Transition from gathering to agriculture, the greatest revolution in human history. I am explaining it sitting on the ground to a woman who ate raw meat. Naya looked at him. In this gaze, something new. Not just assessment. You know a lot, she said. I know some things. Where do you know how to plant and how not to search from? I was taught. Were your teachers gods? Ha-un paused. In a sense, yes. No, he said. Smart people. Lu became his constant partner. Not because Kyra stepped back. Kyra was as always. But Lu herself came and asked, without stopping. Why does the grain need to be pounded? Because the shell is hard. Inside is soft, nutritious. And if you gnaw it, you can. It takes a long time and it's bad for the teeth. Why bad? Because teeth are needed for a long time. And what about that tree by the river? Does it bear fruit? No. This is willow. This tree is different. The bark is useful. Bark? Bark for pain. Boil in water. Drink. When the head hurts or the leg. Lu instantly. Rina's leg hurts for a long time. Shall we go now? Rina was an elderly huntress. She limped. Ha-Yun had seen it. Let's go. Salicylic acid. Willow. Natural aspirin. They knew about it in different cultures, but here they don't know yet. They boiled the bark. Gave it to Rina to drink. After an hour, she said it was better. Lu looked at Ha-Yun as if at a miracle. Are you a healer? I know a little. Will you teach me? Lu was 20 years old. Energy endless. Curiosity sharp. I will teach you. First student. 3 months. Ha-Yun realized the tribe was preparing to move. Nomads spend several months in one place, then leave following the animals. He called Naya and Kyra. Why move? He asked. Naya looked at him as if he were strange. The animals will leave. The grass will dry up. And if we stay, we will die in winter. If we build housing that holds through winter, said Ha-Yun, and grow enough grain for winter, pause, then there's no need to leave. Long silence. Our mothers walked, said Naya. Their mothers. They always walked. I know. Pause. But if there is another way, housing that holds through winter, what is it like? I will show you. Construction of the first permanent housing took 3 weeks. Ha-Yun was not a builder, but he knew the principles. Semi-underground house, a pit 1 meter deep, on top a frame of poles, roof of turf, grass, earth, inside a hearth, smoke outlet, a special hole in the roof. Heat is retained, the earth keeps the temperature. Wind does not pierce through. Snow holds the roof. He worked with Kyra, who came to watch, and imperceptibly began to help with several other women. They dug, set poles, laid the roof. Other women of the tribe watched. Some helped, some laughed. Dig a pit, live in a pit. When they finished, Naya came. Went inside, stood there, came out. It is cool inside, she said. In summer, yes. In winter, it will be warm. How do you know? The earth stores heat, said Ha-Yun. It does not lose it like air. Inside there is fire. Closed, heat stays. Naya looked at the structure. If we do not go with the animals, she said slowly, the animals will leave. What will we eat in winter? Grain, dried meat, nuts. Pause. If we start now, over the summer months, we will gather enough. We have never done it this way. I know. We may die if it is not enough. We may. Pause. Or you can try. First part of the tribe stays, the rest go as usual. If those who stay survive, next year everyone will stay. Compromise. Not all at once. A test, Naya thought. For a long time. Who will stay? Whoever wants. I will say who, Naya corrected. Her tribe. Her decision. You will stay. Yes. Kyra will stay. It is her choice. Naya looked at Kyra. She shortly, I will stay. Lu, I want to. Lu did not let Naya finish. A small smile from Naya, barely noticeable. 7 families, said Naya. They stay with you. The rest go. Pause. In spring we will meet here. Ha-Yun nodded. 7 families, about 30 people. The first permanent group. Beginning. Before winter, 4 months. Ha-Yun did not sleep properly a single night. Too much to do, too little time. He distributed work, did not order suggested. The women themselves decided who would do what. Important. They were not used to a man commanding. No need to break that, need to suggest. Lu, medicine. She gathered herbs. Ha-Yun showed, explained. Nowhere to write down. Lu remembered everything from the first time. Phenomenal memory. Natural healer. Kyra, hunting. Traps set all around the area, checks them every day. Teaches others. Already now the catch has doubled. Passive hunting works. The rest, grain. They gather, dry, store. Ha-Un showed how to make containers from clay. Primitive, but they keep grain from moisture. Pottery, another revolution. Here it is only in its infancy. They built more housing. 7 semi-underground houses by the end of the month. Each new one better than the previous. They learn quickly. Kyra one evening, will we make it? We must. Must is not an answer. We will make it, said Ha-Un. Are you sure? No, not completely. Sure enough. Kyra looked at him. You never tell the full truth. I tell the truth. Not always the full one. Why? Because the full truth sometimes scares people to paralysis, he said. A little uncertainty is better than panic. Kyra thought, is this wisdom or cunning? Depends on the case. Long pause. Tell me the full truth, said Kyra. Agreed. This is important. The first person in the tribe to whom he could say everything. Autumn came sharply. One day warm, the next cold wind. Supplies are there. A lot of meat. Kyra tried hard. Enough grain. They gathered nuts. The root that Ha-un showed, starchy, nutritious. There is also some. They should survive the winter. The first snow came a month after the main part of the tribe left. Lu ran out of the semi-underground house, stood under the snow, looked up. Ha-un watched. Cold, said Lu. Yes. Beautiful. A 20-year-old woman who is seeing snow not for the first time in her life, of course, but the first time standing near her own house that she built. Let's go inside, he said. A little more. Let her. Winter turned out to be difficult. Not deadly, but difficult. Snow deep. Had to go out for water, check traps, cold. But the semi-underground houses held the heat. The fire burned. There was food. Once Rena, the elderly huntress with the bad leg, fell ill. Fever, cough. Lu came to Ha-un at night. Rena is bad. What exactly? She described the symptoms. A cold turning into pneumonia. That was what he feared. Is there honey? He asked. No. Wild garlic. Do you remember where I showed? I remember. Tomorrow early. Gather it. Is any left? Maybe under the snow. I will find it. And willow bark. A lot. Lu left before dawn. She returned wet, frozen, but with a full bag. Without words. Just went. They treated her for 3 days. Garlic decoction, willow bark, warmth, hot liquid constantly. Rena survived. After that, she looked at Ha-un differently. Hard to describe. Not worship. Recognition. Winter solstice. The longest night. Everyone gathered in the large semi-underground house, the widest one they had built together. Bonfire, warmth. Outside at Howells, the women sang. Ha-un did not know the songs, sat, listened. Then Kyra. Did you sing in winter? Yes, he said. Christmas, New Year, other things. That is not important. They sang. About what? About the warmth that will come. About the fact that the dark time is not forever. Kyra nodded slowly. We do too. Pause. Do you miss your place? The question was unexpected, Ha-un thought. Do I miss it? What? Offices, cars, books, a warm shower, notes in the library? The loneliness that filled that life? Sometimes, he said honestly, for some things. For people? There were no people who were important to me there, he said. Truth? Family dead. Friends drifted apart. Work was only work. Kyra was silent. Are there any here? She asked. Are there people here who are important? He looked at Lu, who was arguing hotly with someone about something. At Rena, who was drinking hot decoction. At the women who were singing. There are, he said. Kyra did not answer anything, but she did not leave. Stayed sitting next to him. That was also an answer. Spring came, and with it the large tribe. Naya returned. With the other women, they looked at the camp. 7 semi-underground houses, a garden where Ha-un had already begun to sprout early grains he had sown. A smokehouse for meat. Kyra's idea, she asked how to preserve meat longer. Storage pits. A fence of stakes around, not a wall symbolic, but a boundary. Naya walked around, looked, went into a semi-underground house. Came out. Is everyone alive? She asked Kyra. Everyone. Did no one die during the winter? Rena was ill. Pause. She survived. Naya looked at Ha-un. You survived, she said. We survived, he agreed. 3 of us died during the winter. Quietly, as usual, 3 every winter. Here, 0. Long silence. We are all staying here, said Naya. Not a question, a decision. There will be enough space, said Ha-un. We will build more. Spring work. They built semi-underground houses. 15 new ones in 2 months. Better with each one. The tribe learned, no longer needed to explain the principle, only to correct. They expanded the garden. Ha-un showed how to make furrows, how to plant evenly, how to water. Wild wheat, wild barley, all he found in the area. They gathered seeds, planted systematically. He taught pottery to everyone who wanted. The clay by the stream was good. The first pots were crooked, ugly. But they hold water. That is the main thing. Lu did not learn medicine. Lu was already treating herself. She asked Ha-eun for confirmation, consulted but did it independently. A good sign. A student who manages without the teacher is a good student. Naya called him in the evening. They sat together by the bonfire. Something had changed in her manner, less rigidity in her voice. Not softness. Something else. Like a person who stopped checking and began to think. Ha-eun, she said. Yes. You changed us. The tribe changed itself, he said. I only showed. You speak like a smart person who does not want to seem smart. Pause. What do you want to say, Naya? The elder looked at the fire. Do you know what will happen to us if you leave? Everything I showed will remain, said Ha-eun. Semi-underground houses, grain, traps. Lu knows plants and treatment. Kyra knows hunting with traps. The others also know. They know what already exists, said Naya. You know what will be. Sharper than he expected. I will not leave, he said. Why? Because there is nowhere to go. Naya looked at him. Only for that? Pause. Honest answer. No, not only. Then why? Because I want to see what will come of it, said Ha-eun. I want to see when Lu will treat alone. I want to see the first real harvest. I want to see how this place becomes something. Real. Naya was silent for a long time. You think like a woman, she said finally. What? Men think about today. About prey, about strength, about their own. Pause. You think about what is not yet there. About the future? Pause. This is how mothers think. Ha-eun found nothing to answer. This is good, Naya added. Or bad. I don't know yet. She stood up, went to her semi-underground house, stopped. You have a name from the tribe, she said without turning. Now you are Aura, the one who knows. She left. Aura, the one who knows. A name given by the tribe is acceptance. Full. A year had passed since the day he fell into the tall grass with open palms. A year? The second year began with a find. Kyra returned from hunting. She brought a stone. You said to look at the unusual, she said. She placed it in front of him. Ha-eun took it, heavy, dark with reddish veins, copper ore. His heart beat faster. Copper, the first metal of humanity. After stone tools, copper changes everything. Knives better, spear tips sharper, needles thin to sew leather properly. Where did you find it? There. Kyra pointed in the direction. An outcrop by the stream. A lot of this. A lot? A layer. Large. A rich deposit. Kyra, he said. This is very important. What is this? Metal. From this you can make a knife better than a stone one. A spear tip sharper than any. Pause. This will change everything we do. Kyra looked at the stone. How to do it? First we need to smelt. Very hot fire. Ordinary? No, ordinary is not enough. We need a forge hearth, forced blowing, bellows. How to make bellows from hides. Show me, said Kara. She never says teach me. Always show me. Character. Bellows. 2 weeks. Hides tanned by the method he showed a year ago. Good, soft, hold air. The design is simple, Ha-eun explained 3 times until it worked. A tube, hollowed tree. Principle, pump air into the fire forcibly. Temperature twice as high as an ordinary bonfire. They built the forge separately, a pit with stones, special design. They tried to smelt the ore the first 2 times unsuccessfully. The temperature was still low, Ha-eun thought. What is wrong? The forge is correct, the bellows work, but we do not reach the required temperature. Wood. Ordinary wood gives less heat. We need charcoal. Charcoal, he said. What? We make charcoal from wood first. Charcoal burns hotter than wood. Charcoal burning. A pit covered with earth, wood inside smolders slowly without air. Another week for charcoal. Then the 3rd attempt. Ore in the forge, charcoal, bellows. Lu and another woman pump in turns. The temperature rose. Then the ore began to change. Then it flowed. Liquid copper, orange, alive flowed into the mold that Ha-eun had carved in stone. The women around watched silently. Complete silence. Only the crackle of the fire and the noise of the bellows. It cooled. Ha-eun took out a small ingot. A copper knife? Rough, needs finishing, but metal. He gave it to Kara. She took it. ran her finger along the edge. Sharp, she said quietly. Sharpen it even sharper. Kara looked at the knife, then at him. You said it will change everything we do. Yes. Is it beginning? It is beginning. Copper tips for spears, 3 weeks of work. Ha-Eun was not alone. He showed the principle. Lu turned out to be a born smelting master. Precise hands, feels the material. Strange combination, healer and blacksmith. But in this time, there are no professions, only skills. Kyra took the first copper spear on a hunt. She returned in the evening, silently placed a deer in front of Ha-Eun. A large one. She threw the spear from the distance from which a stone one could not reach, she said. It flies farther, a little heavier, but pierces better. One blow, immediately. Pause. No need to finish it off. Hunting efficiency increased. Less effort, more prey. Good? Good, said Kara. For her, this was the highest praise. Naya in the evening looked at the deer. At the spear. Will all huntresses get such? She asked. There is enough ore, said Ha-Eun. A little more time is needed. Ora, said Naya. How much more do you know? He would have laughed if he had not understood the seriousness of the question. A lot, he said honestly. It will be enough for us for many years. Naya looked at him as at the horizon, far. Good, she said. 3rd year summer. Strangers came. Not hostile immediately. They came out of the forest, stopped. 2 men and 1 woman, thin, ragged. They looked at the camp. The camp was no longer huts. 22 semi-underground houses, a garden, a forge, supplies in pits, a real wooden fence. Lookouts, 3 women always on the perimeter. Kara introduced it herself, she noticed. She raised the signal. Ha-Eun came out, looked at the 3. Another tribe. Clothing completely primitive, worse than it had been here a year ago. Hungry, visible from their faces. The woman stepped forward, said something, a different language. Partially understandable, some roots the same, but different. Kyra nearby. Do you understand? Asked Ha-Eun. A little. Border words. She listened. They are asking for food. Only food? She says the tribe is dying. There was a disease. Disease. The survivors 3 came for help. He looked at Kara. What do you think? He always asked her opinion. It was important. She knows this world better, Kyra thought. Another tribe can be a threat, she said slowly. Maybe not. 3 are not a threat. There may be others behind them. If we give them food and let them go, they will tell others where we are. They already know. Pause. We are not hiding. The forge smokes. The gardens are visible. True. So others will come anyway. Yes, then it is better to accept these ones properly. Kyra looked. You want to accept them into the tribe? Not immediately. But to show that we are not enemies, Naya decides. Of course. Naya came. Looked at the 3 strangers. Long pause. Feed them, she said. Outside the fence. They brought food. The 3 ate quickly, greedily, hungry for a long time. Then the woman from the strangers stood up. Said something. For a long time. Kyra translated in fragments. She says, there were 20 of them. The disease came 2 moons ago, 3 left. 2 of them are children there in the forest. 5 in total. 5 survivors out of 20. What kind of disease? I don't know. But survivors, Lu, said Ha-Eun. She was already nearby listening. Will you go look at them? If the disease is contagious, do not approach. I will go, said Lu without hesitation. 2 years ago, she gathered herbs under the snow. Now she goes to look at sick people from another tribe. She had grown. Lu returned in an hour. The disease has passed, she said. Weak, hungry, but already healthy. Naya listened. Let them enter, she said. She made the decision herself, without long deliberation. This was also a change. Earlier she would have driven them away. The 5 strangers stayed. The woman, Tura. 2 men, Wei and the silent one without a name. He named himself only after 3 days. As. 2 children, girls 8 and 10 years old. Tura was smart, quick. She saw everything. She looked at the garden for a long time. At the forge for a long time. At the semi-underground houses for a long time. Ha-Yun watched her, the same gaze I had when I came. Notices everything, remembers everything. Tura, he said. She turned around. You know something we don't know, he said. Surprise. First reaction, then caution. What? Through Kyra. I don't know exactly what, but I see how you look. Pause. Every people knows something of its own. We will show you what we know. You will show us what you know. Long translation. Kyra managed. The language was similar, she found the basis. Tura thought. How do you know that we have knowledge? Because you survived, said Ha-Un. 3 out of 20 is not an accident. It is skill. A precise compliment. Surviving in such conditions is indeed a skill. Tura looked at him. You are a strange man, they tell me. In our tribe, men do not speak like that. I know. After a week, Tura showed. Weaving from a special grass, thin, strong baskets. Almost waterproof. Special technique. This was more valuable than it seemed. Baskets for storage, for carrying grain, for water if tarred. Ha-Un watched how she wove. Her fingers moved quickly, the pattern complex. How long to learn? A long time, said Tura. I have been doing it since childhood. Will you teach others? For what? Pragmatist? Good. Tell me what you want, Tura thought. A knife from shiny stone, she said. Copper. She had seen it, called it in her own word. I will give 2. 3. 2 in a pot. Pause. Good. The first trade deal in Kelme. In the settlement that still had no name. Exchange of skills, the basis of civilization. Autumn of the 3rd year. They were harvesting the garden, the first real planned harvest. Grain 4 times more than they sowed. Enough for everyone with a reserve. The tribe now had 48 people. The 5 who came had settled in. As the Silent One turned out to be the best builder of all. He looked at the semi-underground houses and saw how to improve them himself, without prompts. A natural architect. In the evening, a large bonfire. Everyone gathered. Naya stood up. We stopped walking, she said. We will spend the 3rd winter here. This place is ours. Silence. The place should have a name, she said. Ha-Yun was surprised. He thought it would be his idea to suggest. No, they came to it themselves. What? Shouted Lu. The women began to speak. Several suggestions, arguments. Naya raised her hand. Silence. She looked at Ha-Un. Aura, she said. You name it. Unexpected. First impulse. To refuse. Let them do it themselves. This is their place. But Naya asked. It was her right to decide so. Ha-Un thought. A place at 2 streams. The place where grain sprouted for the first time. The place where the first copper flowed. The place where Rena survived. The place where children run under the snow and look up. Ash, he said. Kara looked questioningly. What does ash mean in your language? Beginning, she said. First. Yes. Pause. This place is the first such place. The beginning of something, Naya repeated. Ash. It went around the circle. Each woman repeated it. Quietly at first, then louder. The children did not understand the ritual, but also shouted, because everyone was shouting. Ash. The settlement received a name. At that moment, it stopped being a camp. 4th year, spring. Ha-Yun and Kyra by the stream. Usual round, checking traps, looking at the lower garden they had made by the water. They walked in silence. Familiar silence, not awkward. In 3 years, he had learned to read her silence. She had different kinds of silence. Thinking, angry, tired, calm. Now thinking. Kyra. What? I have wanted to ask for a long time. Ask. 3 years ago when they found me in the grass. You decided not to kill me. Pause. Why? Long silence. You looked strange, she said finally. Strange? Not frightened. Pause. The men we had seen before during capture or meeting were angry or afraid. You were not. Pause. You just looked. Like looking at something interesting, not frightened. Because he had been a paleontologist who suddenly found himself in the era he had studied. I was interested, he admitted. I know now. Then I did not understand. But I decided to see what would happen. Did you decide correctly? Kara was silent for a moment. Yes. Simply. Without embellishments. For her, verbose. Ha-un looked at the stream. Kyra, one more question. Many questions today, the last one. Speak. The scar on your cheek, he said quietly. 3 years ago you said others had come. Men? Pause. Long one. Yes? Was it then? Yes? Did they leave? We drove them away, said Kara. Without pain, with firmness. We lost 4, they lost more. They did not return. That is why there are no men in the tribe. That is why there have been none for a long time. Not only because of that time. Pause. Because of many times. Ha-Yun nodded. He was silent. You are different, said Kara. Without intonation. A fact. It had always been strange. Strange that I am not a threat. Strange that you do not try to take, she said directly. Men always tried to take. By force or by cunning. I do not want to take, said Ha-Un. I know. Pause. That is why you can stay. 3 years ago it would have sounded like condescension. Now like recognition. The difference is big. Summer of the 4th year. Not 3 came, 17 came. Another tribe, large, armed. They stopped at the fence, looked. The lookouts raised the signal. Kyra with the huntresses on the fence. Copper spear tips glittered in the sun. Ha-Yun stood next to Kara, looked. 17 people, of them 8 men. Means a mixed tribe? Armed well by the standards of the time, stone spears, clubs, but no copper tips. They see our fence. They see the semi-underground houses. They see the garden. What are they thinking? One of the men stepped forward, large with a spear. He shouted something. Kara listened. He says this is their land. There? They hunted here before. Territorial conflict. Translate, we live here. We will not leave. But we do not want blood. Kyra translated. Shortly in her own words, the man shouted again. Angrier. He says leave or you will die. Negotiations are over. Aggression. Ha-Yun thought quickly. 17 against 48, but we have children, old people. Real fighters about 20, roughly equal in strength. Copper spears against stone ones, our advantage, but I do not want deaths. Neither ours nor theirs. Kyra, he said quietly. Yes, let me go out to them. What? Alone. To them. Talk. They will kill you. They will not kill immediately. They are interested in who we are, what kind of place this is. Pause. Let me try. Kyra looked. If they kill you, Naya will kill me later. They will not kill me. Pause. Go, she said, through her teeth. Ha-Yun went out beyond the fence, alone, hands open, slowly. The 17 watched, tension like a stretched rope. He approached the large man, stopped 3 steps away, looked at him. About 40 years old, many scars. Leader by the position of the others. Hungry faces say. Winter was hard. They came because they needed to, not because they wanted to. Ha-Un pointed with his hand at the fence, then at the leader, then a gesture. Come in, look. The leader was surprised, frowned, did not understand. Ha-Un repeated, then added a word from the foreign language he had picked up from what he had heard. Roughly, look. The leader asked someone from his own. A woman older answered, clearly the translator. Negotiations through triple translation. Kyra from the fence. Ha-Yun, woman translator, leader. Slowly, awkwardly, but it worked. Ha-Yun offered, come in, look, eat, then we talk. Food is a universal language, the leader thought. For a long time, then one step forward. Agreement. The leader was called Tor. He sat by the bonfire inside the fence with 3 of his own, the rest outside. Compromise. He ate silently. Porridge from grain for the first time in his life, visible from his face. He was surprised. He ate everything, looked at the garden. The earth gives food? Through the translator. If you ask it properly, said Ha-Yun. How to ask? Not ask, work. Pause, I can show. Tor looked at him. You are a man living with women. Yes, why? Because they allowed it. Did they not drive you away? I turned out to be useful, Tor thought. Something was changing in his face. Aggression left, curiosity remained. Your tribe is strong, he said finally. Copper spears, fence, food. Pause. We are weaker. Admission. Rarity for a leader. You are not weaker, said Ha-un. You are different for now. For now. A year ago this place was smaller than yours now, said Ha-un. We simply learned. Tor looked for a long time. Will you teach us? The main question. Finally. Naya decides, said Ha-un. Not me. Naya listened to the retelling. She sat by her bonfire, face impenetrable. Then they want to learn. Yes, why should we teach them? Ha-un had expected this question. One settlement, he said. If a great trouble comes, disease, strong enemy, bad winter, one settlement is vulnerable. Two settlements help each other. They can become enemies. They can. But now they came with open hands after seeing strength. Tor is smart. Smart ones do not fight those who are stronger. You are smart talking about smart ones, said Naya. Something like a joke. The first in 4 years. Naya, said Ha-un. Remember what you said in our first winter? 3 of you died as usual? I remember. In their tribe, they also die every winter. Children, old people. Pause. We can stop this. Long silence. You are thinking about other people's children, said Naya. I am thinking about people. The elder looked at the fire. Tor will stay with 3 of his for 3 days, she said. We will see what kind of people they are. Then I will decide. Always first look, then decide. Wise. Tor and his tribe settled 2 hours walk away. Not nearby, Naya decided to give distance, but an agreement. Trade, help, knowledge. Ha-un went to them once a week, taught garden first, basic agriculture, then traps, then hide processing, then firing clay. Tor learned himself. Not only watched, he did it with his hands. A good student when he wants to learn. After half a year, they had their first harvest. Small, uneven. But first, Tor sent a messenger to Ha-un with a piece of game as a gift. Not words. Game. In their language, thank you. Lu sometimes went with Ha-un. She also treated at Tor's. Once there was a man with a broken arm. Lu set the bone, correctly as Ha-un had taught. Tor watched, did not understand how a young woman knew this. He asked Ha-un later, who taught her? I did, said Ha-un. Do you know bones? A little. Where from? Again this question. I was taught by smart people, he said. Tor nodded, accepted. Some people know how to accept without full understanding. 5th year? Winter? Ha-un alone in the forge pit, smelting copper. He worked, already used to it, movements precise. Thinking. 5 years here. Ash now has 71 people. Tor's settlement. 42. In total, 113 people who live better than they lived before. Agriculture, metal, permanent housing, medicine primitive but working. Fewer die in winter, but I am thinking about something else. He tore himself away from the forge. What next? This is good, but this is only the beginning. The real beginning. Bronze. After copper, bronze. We need tin. Where is tin? The wheel. Elementary physics, but no one here knows it. The wheel completely changes transport. Writing. The language of Ash is getting richer, more complex. But there is no recording. Knowledge dies with people. Naya is old. When she dies, she will take with her the memory of what was before. We need writing. We need recording. Lu entered the forge pit. Stopped. You are thinking loudly. What? You are looking into the corner and thinking. It is visible. A habit. About what? Ha-un said. About writing, about bronze, about the wheel. Lu listened. Then, what is writing? Signs that mean words, he said. What is written lives forever. No need to remember. You can read it. How? Explain something to me that I do not know, said Ha-un. Tell me orally. Okay. There is grass by the southern hill with red leaves. If you boil it with birch bark, it removes fever better than willow alone. Good. Now if I die? Where is this knowledge? Pause. Lu understood. It will die with you, she said quietly. Yes, and if you draw a sign for this grass, a sign for birch, a sign for boiling. Pause. In 100 years, someone will find it and read it. Lu looked for a long time. Teach me, she said. Quietly, not as usual, seriously. The first time she said, teach me instead of show me. She understood the difference herself. Teaching writing was harder than he thought. Problem: I know Korean, English, a little Latin. None of these alphabets exist here. We need to create our own, from scratch. He thought for a week. Principle: pictograms first. A picture means a word, then simplification, then sounds. This took thousands of years in real history. I do not have thousands of years, but I know where to go. This speeds it up. He started with the simple. He drew on flat stones with charcoal. Showed Lu. This is grass. I draw it like this. This is water. This is fire. This is a person. Lu watched. Repeated. Where to draw? Everywhere it holds. Stone, bone, wood. How many signs are needed? For the beginning, 100. Then we will add 100 basic pictograms. Not an alphabet, but a beginning. After a month, Lu was drawing herself. Quickly, accurately. She recorded her knowledge about the grass with red leaves. On a flat stone. With charcoal. She showed Ha-un. He read it. Correct. Lu looked at the stone. At her own words that now lived separately from her. This is strange, she said. What? My words. But on the stone they live by themselves. Yes. You will die someday, said Lu. Direct, always direct. I will die. But this will not. Yes, this is more than a knife from shiny stone. Much more. Lu carefully placed the stone on a shelf in the semi-underground house. The first book of the settlement of Ash. A flat stone with charcoal signs. Somewhere there, Lu recorded how to treat fever. In hundreds of years, if the stone survives, someone will read it. This is immortality of another kind. Beginning of the 6th year. Naya fell ill. Not badly at first. Cough. Weakness. Old body does not cope like a young one. Lu treated her. Every day. Everything she knew. Ha-Yun helped. Everything he remembered. She held on for 3 weeks, then she called Ha-Yun. Alone. She asked the others to leave. He sat by her bed. The semi-underground house was warm. The smoke from the hearth curled correctly. Lu had tried. Naya looked at him. Aura, she said. Quietly, less strength. Naya. I have seen a lot, she said. Hunger, cold, losses, small wars. Pause. The last 3 years are the best I have seen. You yourselves made them better. You started, you continued. Silence. After me, Kyra, said Naya. He had expected it. Kyra is a good leader. Kyra is a good warrior. A leader learns. Pause. Will you help her? She will not ask, said Ha-Un honestly. No, a quiet smirk. She will not ask, but will you help? I will help. Good. Silence. Fire. Aura, said Naya. Yes, I often thought why the gods sent you to us. Not gods, he said. I know you think so. Pause. I think gods. It does not matter. Pause. It is important that they sent you, not gods. It just happened. It just happened also happens by the will of the gods, said Naya. You cannot argue with a dying elder. Maybe, he agreed. It is good that you stayed, she said. It is good that the tribe allowed it. It is good that you caught me, said Ha-Un. Naya laughed, weakly, quietly. But she laughed. After 3 days, she died quietly, in her sleep. The tribe gathered by her semi-underground house. They were silent. Ha-Un stood aside, the elder who saw the future and was not afraid, a rarity in any era. Kyra approached quietly, stood next to him. Now it is me, she said. Yes, I do not want to, I know, but it is necessary. It is necessary. Long pause. Aura. Yes, help me not to do stupid things. The first time she asked for help herself? I will help. 7th year. Ha-Yun sat by the stream, thinking about the wheel. Elementary as an idea. Difficult to implement here. There is wood. There is a copper axe. An axle is needed. The first wheel historically is not for transport. A potter's wheel, simpler. I will start with it. As the builder, the quiet one came himself, sat next to him, watched as Ha-Un drew on the ground. What is this? He asked. A circle on an axle. It spins. You can put clay on it and it spins while you shape it. Az looked. Then he took a stick, added something to the drawing. If the axle is here and supports here, he said, it will be stable. As sees the structure spatially, a natural engineer. Yes, exactly. It can be made, said As. Simple. When? Tomorrow. His brevity like Bert from another story. Speaks little, does a lot. The potter's wheel was ready in 2 days. Tura took it first. She tried it. Clay on the wheel spun evenly without effort. The first pot on the wheel was even, without the distortions that had been before. Oh, said Tura, only that. But with such an expression on her face. A master saw a tool that changes mastery. After a month, everyone had mastered the potter's wheel. Pots better, faster, more, as watched. Once he approached Ha-un. This is a wheel, he said. Yes, a wheel can be put not only for clay, yes, on a log to carry heavy things. He himself came to the cart. Himself. Show me, said Ha-un. As looked with surprise. Rarely was he asked. Usually he watched and was silent. Tomorrow, he said. And he did it. The first primitive cart on 2 wheels. Crooked, creaks, but it moves. Kyra watched as Ace pulled a load of stones on the cart that he would have carried himself before. As, she said. Yes, good work. Kyra, the first elder of Ash, praised the work, for as it was like receiving a title. He nodded, left, already thinking about the next improvement. Visible on his face, tin was found in the mountains. Not by themselves, traders came from a distant tribe. Ha-un had already established a primitive trade route. They exchanged grain, copper knives, pots. One of the traders brought a heavy gray stone. I do not know what this is, he said. Beautiful. Heavy. Ha-un took it. His heart skipped a beat. Cassiterite. Tin ore. Where did you find it? In the mountains to the north. There is a lot there. How much do you want for this? 3 copper knives. I take it. And more. Lead us to the place where there is a lot of this. How many knives? 10. Good. Bronze. 2 months of work. Mixing copper and tin, the proportion needs to be correct. Ha-un remembered from textbooks 9 parts copper, 1 tin. Approximately. Several unsuccessful attempts. Too brittle or too soft. Lu helped. She recorded the proportions on stone. The first laboratory journal in the history of this world. Then it worked. Bronze flowed correctly. It cooled. Ha-un took the finished knife. He ran it across copper and left a scratch. Harder than copper. Significantly. Is this better than copper? Asked Kyra. Much better. How much? A copper knife becomes dull and bends after a year. A bronze one serves for a long time and keeps its sharpness. Kyra took the knife, touched the blade. Give such to the huntresses. I will. It takes time for smelting. Start. Short and everything. 8th year. Ash has 137 people. Tor's settlement, 78. Another 2 small settlements that came to learn. Total 50. 265 people who lived differently than they lived. 8 years. Ha-un sat on the hill above Ash. Evening, looked down. Many lights. Smoke from the forge. As expanded, the smithy now works there constantly. Walls around Ash wooden, real, 3 meters high. Paths between the semi-underground houses trampled, cleared. Market twice a week, people come from all settlements. Not a city yet, but it is visible where it is going. Kyra came, sat next to him. Looked too. Thinking, she asked. Counting, he said. What are you counting? Deaths? Pause. Naya said every winter 3 died. As usual, pause. Last winter 0 in Ash. In Tor's settlement, 1 old man. Very old. Kyra was silent. This is your work, she said. Ours. Aura. Yes. Do not argue with what is true. Pause. Good. Our work. Together. Better, said Kyra. Long silence. Good one. Aura. Yes. What next? She asked this rarely. Usually Kyra knew what to do herself. When she asks, it means she sees beyond the horizon that others do not see. Bronze tools better process the land. The harvest will grow. Pause. We need water closer, a canal from the river. Az has already thought about this. Canal? A ditch with water from the river to the garden. No need to carry, it flows itself. Will Az manage? He will manage. Good. What else? Writing. We are teaching more people. Not only Lu. Knowledge should live not in heads but on stone, on skin. Good. And Hayun was silent for a moment. Speak. Children? Teach children. Pause. Now children see what adults do and learn. It is slow. If we teach specially, every day, signs, plants, construction, smelting. Who will teach? Lu will start. I will help. Lu is a healer. Lu is more than a healer, said Hayun. She knows more than half of what I showed. And she teaches well. She sees how to explain. Kyra thought, I will talk to Lu. She will agree. How do you know? Because this is what she wants and does not yet know herself. Kyra looked at him with an expression he had learned to read over 8 years. Irritation plus agreement. Do you always know what people want? No, sometimes I am wrong. Rarely. It happens. Kyra talked to Lu the next day. Hayun was not present on purpose. This is a conversation between two women, not his. In the evening, Lu came herself. She stood at the entrance to Ha-eun's semi-underground house. Looked. You knew I wanted this, she said. I guessed. Why didn't you tell me? Because it is better when a person comes to understanding themselves, Lu thought. I am afraid, she said. The first time in 8 years, Lu said she was afraid of something. Of what? That I will not be able to explain. One thing is to do. Another is for others to understand. You explained to me, said Ha-eun. Remember about the grass with red leaves? You explained so that I understood from the first time. This is one grass. The principle is the same. Lu was silent. I will be nearby at first, said Ha-eun. If something goes wrong, I will correct it. Do you promise? I promise. Pause. Good, she said. Shall we start tomorrow? Better in 3 days. Prepare what you want to show first. And what first? You decide. You are the teacher. Lu looked at him. You deliberately speak like this so that I think myself. Yes, is this cunning? This is respect, said Ha-eun. Lu nodded, slowly, left. The first teacher of Ash. 8 years ago, a curious girl who asked without stopping. Now a person who will pass knowledge to the next ones. This is what a proper student means, after 3 days. The children gathered by the large stone at the edge of the camp, 7 people, age from 8 to 12. Lu stood in front of them, slightly tense. Hands did not know where to go. She folded them in front of herself. Hayun to the side. Does not interfere, Lu began. Who knows what this is? She showed a bunch of grass. Grass, said one of the children. What grass? Silence. That is bad, said Lu. Grass with red edges treats fever. Yellow grass with smell drives away insects. Grass similar to this but without red is poisonous. The children watched. One reached out to touch, with hands carefully, said Lu. First look, then smell. Then if safe, touch. And how to know it is safe? Asked a girl. The very one who had come with Tura 3 years ago. She had grown. That is why you are here, said Lu. Ha-eun smiled. He did not interfere. She found her own answer. Herself. The lesson lasted an hour. The children left with a bunch of grass in each one's hand. Assignment. Bring tomorrow and say what it is. Lu approached Ha-eun. How was it? Good. One boy did not listen. It happens. Tomorrow he will listen. Why? Because the others will bring grasses and tell. It will be interesting to him, Lu thought. Children learn through other children. Often? Yes. This is useful to know. Very useful. Pause. Aura. Yes? I like it, said Lu. Quietly. To teach. I know. How? You explained to me from the first day, even when I did not ask. Pause. This is not accidental. Lu looked at him. You saw a teacher in me before I did. Sometimes it happens that way, said Ha-eun. 9th year spring, as was building the canal. 3 months of work. The whole settlement dug in turns. Wooden shovels, copper picks, hands. The canal from the river 1/2 kilometer away to the Gardens of Ash. Wide, with reinforced banks of stone and wood. The last day to close the temporary dam, the whole tribe gathered. As stood by the dam, looked. Ready? Asked Kara. Ready, said As. Then open it. As removed the poles that held the water. The water went. Slowly at first, then faster. It flowed along the canal, shining in the sun, alive. It reached the gardens. It spread along the furrows that Ha-un had taught them to make for watering. Silence. Then Lu, who stood next to the children she was teaching, "The water goes by itself." "Yes," someone said. "Without buckets. Without buckets." One of the older women, the very one who had processed hides when Ha-un arrived, suddenly laughed, not cheerfully, astonished. "How many buckets we carried," she said. "Every day." Another supported her. They laughed not at something funny. They laughed because something simple turned out to be possible. Az looked at the canal. His face is always calm, but his eyes different. Ha-un approached him. "Az, yes, good work." "Yes," Az agreed, not modesty, just a fact. "What do you want to build next?" Az looked at Ha-un. "A bridge," he said, "across the river." "Now we cross by ford. It takes a long time. A bridge is faster." "When will you start?" "After the harvest. Do you need help?" "No." Pause. "Just tell me how they made bridges where you are from." Again, where you are from. He did not insist on an explanation. He simply asked practically. "We will sit in the evening and I will draw," said Ha-un. Good. Az is a builder who does not ask where the knowledge comes from, only how to apply it. An ideal person, evening after the canal. Kyra came to Ha-un. Not as usual, not with a question, not with business. She simply came. She brought food, set it down, sat. She ate in silence. Ha-un ate next to her. He was silent too. Good silence. They know how to do that. They finished eating. "Ora," said Kyra. "Yes, do you remember the first day?" "When they found you." "I remember. You raised your hands. Palms forward." "Yes, why?" "Because it is a sign that you are not an enemy. It is like that everywhere. We did not have this sign." "I did not know," admitted Ha-un. "It just seemed right." "I understood," said Kyra, not immediately, later. Pause, but then I stopped because I saw. Pause. "Are you always like that?" she asked. "Like what?" "You do what seems right, without knowing whether they will understand," Ha-un thought. "Probably yes." "This is good," said Kyra, "and bad sometimes." "I know." Silence. Ora. "Yes, I am the elder now, second year." "Yes, this is a lot of work." "I know." "You help," she said, "as you promised Naya." "I try." "More than try," said Kara. "Direct as always, you do it." Pause. Rare praise from her is more valuable than from others. Kyra. "What? You are a good leader." "I know." He laughed unexpectedly for himself. Kyra looked. Rarely, she smiled. Not widely, but she smiled. In 9 years he had seen this, maybe the 5th time. Every time like a gift. 10th year. Ha-un in the morning at the canal. A habit, he came here often. He looked at the water, thinking. 10 years? Ash has 184 people, plus allied settlements, more than 300 in total. What changed in 10 years? Housing. From huts to semi-underground houses. The semi-underground houses improved every year. Now some are no longer semi-underground houses. Az came up with a wooden frame coated with clay. The walls hold heat no worse than earth. Lighter, higher, food. From only meat and gathering to agriculture. Grain, root crops, wild peas that they gradually domesticated. There had been no hunger for any winter in the last 6 years. Metal, copper, bronze. Az makes tools that Ha-un had not even thought of in the first years. Not only knives, saws, chisels, hooks for fish. Fish. Lu herself came up with nets from woven grass. Ha-un had seen the principle but had not spoken. She reached it herself, watching how the water carried leaves. Treatment. Lu is now a real healer whom people come to ask from other settlements. She trained 3 students. She recorded everything she knows. Stones with charcoal signs are stored in a special dry pit with a lid. Writing. The pictograms that Ha-un invented had grown. Lu added her own. The children she teaches already write and read basic signs. The bridge. Az built it. The first wooden one in this world, on piles. People came to look from 3 settlements. Trade. Once a week people come to Ash from 5 tribes. They exchanged grain, pots, hides, metal. Rome! No, not Rome, that is another story. Tura manages trade. She counts, negotiates. Ha-un raised his gaze. The sun had risen above the forest. It will take 3 generations before all this becomes fixed, until the children of these people's children live like this, not because they were taught, but because it is simply normal. I will not live to the 3rd generation. But the beginning is there. That is enough. Once one came, an old man. Very old. 70, maybe more. He walked himself without help. Straight. Dressed strangely, not like the local tribes. A cloak from a different material. A belt with symbols. He stopped at the gates of ash. The lookout called Kyra. Ha-un also came out. The old man looked at him. For a long time. Are you Aura? He asked. In the language of ash almost purely. Strong accent, but understandable. Yes, I heard about you, said the old man. From 3 days' journey. Where from? There. He pointed east. A large tribe. They heard about a place where the earth gives food. Where water flows by itself. Where they make sharp things from shiny stone. Rumors spread, said Ha-un. Not rumors. Traders say, the old man corrected. Traders do not lie when they want to trade. What do you want? To look, said the old man. I am the keeper of knowledge of my tribe. I remember everything that was. Pause, I want to see what will be. Keeper of knowledge. A living library. Come in, said Ha-un. Kyra with a look. Are you sure? Nod. Sure. The old man was called Ur. He walked around ash for 3 days. He looked at everything. He was silent. Sometimes he muttered something in his language, but did not ask for translation. On the 4th day he came to Ha-un. May I sit? Sit. They sat. You are not from here, said Many say that. I do not ask, I say. Pause. I have seen many people, many tribes. I have not seen such. What kind? One who knows many different things at once, said Usually one person knows one thing. Blacksmith, hunter, healer. You know a little of everything. Pause. Where does such a person come from? A question he had heard many times. Every time a different answer. What to say to an old man who keeps knowledge? Who has seen much? From another time, said Ha-un, directly. Looked. There is no other time. You think so? You think differently? I know what happened to me. Long pause. Another time, repeated slowly, means all this already existed there. Yes, and you brought it here. I tried. Looked at the canal that was visible from the semi-underground house. Water flows by itself. Yes, children read signs. They started. Fewer die in winter. Yes, silence. Aura, said Yes, you need to go further. Unexpected. What? It is good here. You did it well. Pause, but there are other tribes. Many. To the east, to the north. They die every winter. They do not know what you know. Ha-un was silent. A thought he had been postponing. He had postponed it for several years. This is not for me to decide, he said. For whom? He looked at Ash. At the evening lights. At the children who were running between the semi-underground houses. At Lu, who was explaining something to her students. Ash is my place, he said. Kyra is the elder. This is her and the tribe's decision. And yours? Pause. Mine. I have been thinking about this for a long time. What do you think? That Ash no longer needs me the way it needed me 8 years ago. Pause. Kyra manages. Lu teaches, as builds, Tura trades. Pause. They have grown. That is why it is possible to go. Or this means that I have already given what I could, said Ha-un, and I can stay and simply live. Looked at him. Do you want to stay? An honest question. It deserves an honest answer. Yes, said Ha-un, I want to. Then why do you think about the others? Because I know that their people are dying who could not die? Was silent for a long time. Means you cannot choose. Means you have not chosen yet. The first time in 10 years he said aloud what he had been thinking. In the evening he came to Kyra. She was by her fire, alone. She looked at the fire. He sat next to her. They were silent. Then, said something, Kyra uttered. Not a question. Yes, what? That we need to go to other tribes. Silence. You have thought about this, she said. Also not a question. I have thought. For a long time? 3 years. Kara did not answer anything. The fire crackled. Why didn't you speak? Because I had not decided. Have you decided now? No. Pause. I want to talk to you. Kyra looked at him. In her gaze there was something he could not fully read. Not anger, not resentment, something heavier. Speak. Ash no longer needs me the way it did before, said Hayun. You manage. Everyone manages. Pause. But there, further, people live as we lived 10 years ago. They die every winter. Yes, as we died. Yes. Pause. Aura, said Kyra. Yes, if you leave, will you return? A question he had feared to hear. Because the honest answer is complicated. I do not know, he said. Long silence. Honestly, said Kara finally, you asked me to speak the full truth. I remember. The fire quiet, night around. Somewhere in the distance, Lou laughed with someone, a recognizable voice. Kyra. What? If there were no other tribes, if there were no this choice. Pause. Would you want me to stay? The most direct question in 10 years. Kyra looked at the fire. For a long time. Yes, she said. One word. Quietly. In 10 years, they had become used to her words weighing as much as others speak in an hour. One yes, like an admission of something big. Kyra, said Haun. What? I am not leaving tomorrow. I have not made the decision. I know. I am here. I know. Pause. Aura. Yes, do not decide quickly. Pause. Wait. Wait for what? I do not know, said Kyra. A rarity when she said, I do not know. Just wait. I will wait. They sat by the fire. For a long time. The night did not hurry. 11th year. Summer. Haun in the morning on the hill above Ash. A habit that does not go away. He looked down. 201 people. They had crossed 200 recently. Lou said it needed to be marked. They marked it with a large bonfire, food for everyone. Streets. 3 now. As named them himself in his own way. A silent man who names streets. This is funny and touching at the same time. The bridge across the river has held for the 2nd year. As checks it every spring, strengthens where needed. Lou's children, not her children. Her students already teach other children. Knowledge has gone into the 3rd circle. Ur stayed. He does not leave. He says it is more interesting here than where he was. He teaches children his knowledge. Other things he accumulated over 70 years. Ash received 2 sources of knowledge at once. Tor comes once a month. The 2 settlements trade, help, sometimes argue. But they argue with words, not spears. From below, Kyra. She came out of the gates. She looked at the hill. She saw him. She walked up. She stood next to him. They were silent, looking at Ash. Said yesterday, Kyra uttered. What did he say? He said that in his whole life he had not seen such a place. This tribe did it. You started. You allowed it. Kyra sighed. Aura. Yes, spoke again about other tribes. I know. Have you thought? I have thought. And? Pause. Long one. Haun looked at Ash. At the smoke from the smithy where Az was working. At the garden where the grain was greening. At the children who had already gathered by the large stone. Lou's lesson. At the canal, the water glittered in the sun. 201 people who live better. And somewhere there. Others. Still many others. Do you remember what you said when I suggested staying for the first winter, he asked. What? You said we might die if there's not enough food. Or try. Kyra was silent for a moment. I remember. That was the right answer, said Haun. Not you alone. Naya, the tribe decided to try. Pause. Now it is a different decision. Not mine alone. Will the tribe decide? You will decide, he said. You are the elder. Pause. What do you want? Asked Kara. Yourself, not what is needed. What do you want? The most difficult question. He had thought about it for a long time. He knew the answer. It was simply hard to say aloud. I want to stay, he said. Here. With you. With Lou. With Az. With Ash. Pause. I want to see what will happen next. But I know that there are people are dying who could not die. Pause, and I cannot stop thinking about it. Silence. Kyra looked at Ash. Do you think of leaving alone? He did not know how otherwise. What if not alone? He turned to her. What? Lu has raised 3 students. They know what she knows. Pause. As has 2 assistants. They build well. Pause. I am the elder. Ash will live without me if needed. Kyra. You are speaking about. I am saying that Ash will not die if we leave together, she said. Directly. For a time. Long silence. This is a big decision. I make big decisions, said Kyra. Do you want to go with me? I want to see what you will do there, said Kyra, and to do the same thing Naya did here. He understood. Naya gave a place, allowed work, did not interfere and did not press. Kyra wants to be for the next place what Naya was for Ash. You will become their elder, he said, if they accept. They will accept. How do you know? Because you are that kind of person. Pause. Kyra looked at him. For a long time. Aura. Yes, we will leave in spring after winter. Pause. I will tell Lu. She will take Ash. Lu is 28 years old. Teacher, healer, a person whom they trust. A good choice. Good, said Ha-un. Do you agree? Yes, then in autumn and winter we prepare them. So that they know everything? Agreed. Pause. The sun was rising higher. Ash below lived, smoke, voices, movement. Kyra. What? Thank you. For what? For catching me 11 years ago. Kyra looked at him and smiled. Not the way she smiles rarely. Truly. You did not run, she said. No. That helped. He laughed. Kyra too. Quietly. But she laughed. For the first time together, they laughed like that on the hill above Ash, in the morning when everything was ahead. Below, Lu began the lesson. The children crowded by the large stone. Az came out of the smithy. He looked up. He saw the 2 of them on the hill. He nodded silently, as always. He went back. Tura opened the trade gates. The first guests from the neighboring settlement were already walking across the bridge. Sat in the shade by his semi-underground house. He was saying something to the children who had come before the lesson. The old man and the children listened. Ash lived, by itself, without anyone pulling it forward. It simply lived. Shall we go? Asked Kara. Let's go. They descended from the hill. Spring will come, after it, the road. But first this winter, this day, this Ash. 201 people, who do not die every winter, who know the signs on stone, who smelt bronze and build bridges and teach children. The beginning is here, left forever. The winter before leaving. Hae-yoon did not sleep much. He worked. Not with hands, with his head. He recorded everything he knows. Everything he had shown in 11 years. On hides, Lu came up with how to preserve text on hide better than on stone. Thinner, lighter, can be folded. The signs were no longer simply pictograms. In 11 years, the system had grown. 240 basic symbols. Not an alphabet, but almost a recording language. Lu came at nights and helped. They sat together by the fire. She wrote, he dictated. Treatment of fractures, said Hae-yoon. I am writing. First determine the severity. If the bone is visible, a complex fracture, cleanliness is needed above all. Wash with willow and garlic infusion. I am writing. Fix 2 straight sticks on the sides, wrap, hold for at least 3 moons. She wrote moons. Good. The first medical treatise of the prehistoric world. On hide, in the semi-underground house by the light of the fire. Once at night, Lu stopped. Aura. Yes, you are recording this for me, so that I do not forget. For everyone. No. Pause. For me. Because you are leaving. Ha-yoon did not answer immediately. Lu. Yes, you will not forget. I remember everything, you know. Pause. But when you leave, sometimes I will take the hide. Read. Quietly. It will be as if you are here. Silence. What to say to a person who became something between a daughter and a friend to you in 11 years? Lu? What? Ash is in good hands. In your hands, now yours. Lu looked at the hide in front of her. I am afraid, she said. The second time in all this time. Like then when she taught children for the first time. Do you remember what I said then? That I would be nearby. Now I will say something different. What? That I will not be nearby. Pause. And you will manage. How do you know? Because Naya managed. Because Kyra managed. Pause. Because you are better than both in what you do. Lu was silent for a long time. This is not true. It is true. Naya was. Naya was a wise woman who was not afraid to try new things. You are the same plus knowledge she did not have. Long silence. Shall we continue writing? Asked Lu finally. Let's continue. They wrote until dawn. Spring. The day of departure. Ash gathered at the gates. All? 201 people. Children, old, huntresses, potters, builders. 2. He stood aside, leaning on a stick. Ha-Un and Kyra with bags. Small ones. They took only the necessary. Bronze knife, fire starter, hides with records, food for 2 weeks, seeds, wheat, peas. Seeds are the most important. This is not just food. This is the beginning. Lu approached. She stood in front of Ha-Un. She looked. She said nothing for a long time, then she hugged him. Quickly, tightly, she stepped back. Go, she said. Voice even. Lu, who is afraid, does not show it. She had grown. Lu. What? If it is hard, send a messenger to Tor. He will help. I know. If someone falls ill with something you do not know how to treat, write down the symptoms. Wait. Sometimes the body itself. I know, Aura. If... Aura? Lu interrupted. Go. I know. Pause. I know that you know, he said. Then go, as approached, silently. He thrust something into Ha-Un's hands, a small bronze axe, well made, light. For the road, he said. Thank you, ass. Good work you do here. Pause. Good work there, too. The longest speech from, as in 11 years, weighty. Tura handed a small bag, small copper rings. For trade, she said, businesslike. There they do not know our money, but shiny metal is understood everywhere. Money. The first primitive money of Ash, copper rings that Tura herself introduced 2 years ago. Trade became simpler. Thank you, Tura. Do not lose them. I will not lose them. Ur hobbled up last. He looked at Ha-Un. I gave you bad advice, he said. What? I said to leave. Pause. You would have left anyway, but you made the decision yourself. I should not have spoken. You spoke what you thought, said Ha-Un. Yes. Ur waved his hand. Go. Pause. Return when you can. I will try. Do not try. Do it. He smirked. Good. Kyra was already at the gates. She looked at him, waiting. Without impatience, just waiting. Ha-Un turned to Ash one last time. 201 people. Semi-underground houses that had become homes. The canal with shining water. The smithy from which smoke was already coming, as did not waste a single day. The large stone where Lu taught. All this had been simply tall grass in a nomadic camp 11 years ago. He turned. He walked to Kyra. He stood next to her. Ready? She asked. Ready. They went out beyond the gates. Behind them, Ash was silent. They did not shout after them. They did not cry. This is a tribe of warriors and huntresses. They see off in silence, but they stood and watched. For a long time, Ha-Un did not turn around. If I turn around, it will be hard to walk. Kyra walked next to him. Evenly. She looked forward. She knows the same thing. She does not turn around either. This is what it means. People of the same kind. The forest accepted them quickly. 2 hours' walk and Ash was no longer visible. Only forest, sky, path. They walked in silence. Not because there was nothing to say. Habit of the road. They speak when it is needed. By midday they came to the river, not the one by Ash, another, wider. No visible ford. Ha-Un looked. It is deep here, said Kyra. Upstream or downstream? Downstream it is shallower, usually where the river turns. Do you know this river? I hunted here. Long ago. Pause. 5 years ago. Has it changed? Rivers do not change quickly. They went downstream along the bank. The turn, the ford appeared. Shallow, up to the knee. They crossed. On the other bank, they stopped. To dry a little, to look around. Kyra looked at the forest ahead. Something in her face was different than usual. What? Asked Ha-un. Thinking. About what? When was the last time I was so far from Ash alone? You are not alone. With you alone, she corrected. Without the tribe. He understood what she meant. Strange? Yes, pause. Good strange. Have you not hunted alone for a long time? A long time. An elder does not walk alone. Pause. This is right for safety. But I missed it. The hunt? The forest, said Kyra. This. She simply pointed at the forest. Birds, silence. Without the voices of the tribe. A leader who sometimes needs solitude. A rarity to admit this. Now there will be, said Ha-un. Yes. They went further. 4 days of travel. First day, the river. They found a place for the night, lit a fire. Kyra caught a fish with her hands, a skill Ha-un had not seen in 11 years. She simply stepped into the stream and pulled it out. Calmly. How? Patience and quietly, she said. Fish are not afraid of the quiet. Second day, the mountains began, not high, foothills. Had said that tribes live in valleys between the mountains. Correct, there is water there, protection from two sides. Animals come to the water. Third day, tracks. Kyra found them. She stopped, squatted. People, she said. Many? 5. Passed yesterday. Hunters. Shall we follow the track? No. They will find us themselves if they notice the smoke. Leave the smoke? Yes, pause. Smoke says we are here. Openly. We are not hiding. Fourth day? They found them. The valley opened from the pass. Ha-un stopped. Below, a camp. Huts. Hide ones poorly set. Visible from the height, about 30 people, maybe more. Smoke. One bonfire. Weak. Nomads. Or they had recently settled here. Kyra nearby. Looked. Small, she said. Starting with small is simpler. Shall we go down? Yes. Slowly, so they can see. They descended openly, not hiding, hands without weapons, As's axe on the back, not in the hand. The same principle as 11 years ago. Open palms, they were noticed halfway down. From the camp, 3 men, with stone spears, old ones. They stopped, waited. Ha-un and Kyra approached, stopped 10 steps away. Unfamiliar language, completely different from the language of Ash. Gestures are more universal than words. Ha-un raised his hands, palms forward. The 3 watched. Kyra took a piece of dried meat from the bag. She placed it on the ground between them, stepped back. Food is always understandable. One of the men, the young one, stepped forward, took the meat, smelled it, tried it, said something to the others. The elder, not young, with gray hair, made a sign. Follow, an invitation. The tribe, 34 people, small. Visible that there had been more by the size of abandoned hearths by the number of hides. Disease, war, hard winter, complete language barrier, not a single common word. Starting from 0. How to learn a language without a base. Ha-un began in the evening of the first day. He sat by the bonfire with that same young man, Sin, as he understood later. He showed objects, named them in his word. Sin named them in his. Fire and ash, kar, here, et. Water, ma, here, ol, meat, dar, here, tar. Similar, maybe related languages. Kyra nearby, listened. She also memorized. Kyra had learned the language of Ash in her time. Basic. Now a new one. By the morning of the second day, 20 words. By evening, 50. Not conversation, but a beginning. The elder, Rog as it turned out, watched them. Indefinitely. Not hostile, but not open. The caution of an elder. Understandable. On the third day, the first thing happened. A small child, about 6 years old, fell ill. Fever, cough, the mother in panic. The old woman of the tribe, the herbalist apparently, had tried something. Unclear to Ha-un, but it did not help. Kyra approached the mother, said something in a mixture of languages and gestures. The mother looked. Lu would have managed better. Kyra quietly said to Ha-un and Ash. Do you remember what Lu did for fever in children? I remember. Then do it. They will not allow me. They will allow if Rog says. Pause. Go to Rog. Kyra went to the elder. She still did not know how to speak his language, but she knew how to speak differently. Ha-eun watched. Kyra stood in front of Rog. She pointed at the sick child. At herself. At the mother. Raj watched. Kyra took a bunch of herbs from the bag. The ones she had taken from Ash, she knew which were important. She showed Raj. Smell. He was surprised. But he smelled. Kyra showed the process with gestures. Boil in water, give to drink, Rog thought. Then he nodded. Kyra. 11 years ago, she caught a stranger in the grass because he did not run. Now she had negotiated without words with an unfamiliar elder. One principle, see what needs to be done. That. The child was better by evening. Not immediately, but the fever dropped. The mother looked at Kyra. Then she took her hand. Held it. Kyra did not pull away. She stood. First contact through a child. Always through a child. A month in the valley. Ha-eun already spoke the language, badly with mistakes. But he spoke. Kyra too, faster than he expected. Sharp ears, strong memory. Raj began to speak with them directly. The first real conversation in the evening by the large bonfire. Where are you from? Asked Raj. In his language, Ha-eun understood from the third repeat. From there, he pointed west. Far. 2 days' walk. You came alone? 2. Why? Here's the main question. Ha-eun thought how to explain, words still few. We have a place. A settlement, he said slowly. Before it was small like yours, now it is large. We know how to do many things. We came to show. Show us? Yes. Raj looked at him. Why show us? Because you die every winter, said Ha-eun directly. Pause. Rog did not answer immediately. How do you know? I saw how you live. Pause. We have always lived like this. Now they do not die in winter. Do you want me to show how? Long silence. What do you want in return? Asked Rog. Nothing. That does not happen. With us it does, said Ha-eun. Rog looked for a long time, skeptically, intelligently. One question, he said. Yes, can you make sharp things from shiny stone? Copper. Rumors had reached even here. I can show. They found ore quickly, the valley and the mountains. Copper ore was here too. Ha-eun worked for 3 days. Without a proper forge, he built one from stones. Without good bellows, Qin made primitive ones from hide, according to the explanation. Crooked, but they worked. Raj watched. The whole tribe watched. When the copper flowed, complete silence. When the knife cooled, Raj took it. He tried it. Sharp. He cut the skin of his finger, not on purpose, slightly. Looked. Sharp, he said. Yes? Can you teach us? I can teach you everything we know, said Ha-eun. Rog looked at him. Why are you doing this? Again, this question is the same everywhere. Because I can, said Ha-eun, and because it is right. Rog did not understand completely. It was visible. A man who teaches others weakens himself, he said. If others know the same as you are not needed. The logic of knowledge scarcity. Knowledge is power, cannot be shared. In my understanding, it is the opposite, said Ha-eun. If I alone know I will die, the knowledge will disappear. If everyone knows, the knowledge lives. Are you not afraid that we will leave you? No. Why? Because I teach not to hold, said Ha-eun. I teach so that you live better. If you live better without me, good. Rog looked. For a long time. Assessing. Strange man, he said finally. They tell me, said Ha-eun. Kyra nearby barely noticeably smiled. 3 months in the valley. First month. Language and trust. Copper shone. The child survived. Raj not hostile, not open. Watching. Second month. Beginning. Ha-eun showed traps. Sin grasped it in 1 day. Young, fast, wants to know how. They laid a small garden. They sowed seeds from ash. Rog watched skeptically. The earth does not give food. The earth gives grass. Ha-eun did not argue. He simply sowed. Kyra worked with the women of the tribe, not through Ha-eun herself. She had mastered the language in a month enough for simple conversation. She showed hide processing, basket weaving by Tura's method, herbal treatment. Third month, The first sign. The first sign. Raj came himself. In the morning, without warning, he stood at the place where Haun was processing copper. I looked at the garden at night, he said. And? It is growing. Yes, is this grain? Still early, but the stalks are grain ones. In 2 months there will be. Raj looked at the garden. 2 died in our winter last year, he said suddenly. Who? Old Noor, and a small girl. Pause. A cold. Our healer Lu could have helped, said Haun. There we have a person who knows. Pause. I know a little. Kyra knows more. Teach us, said Raj. Not a question, a request. From an elder who is used to giving orders, this is a big step. We teach, said Haun. Sin is 20 years old. Hunter, good one. Fast, brave, sometimes too much. He came to Haun in the 2nd month. I want to know everything you know, he said directly. This is long, said Haun. How long? A whole life. Sin was not embarrassed. Shall we start now? The same energy as Lu once had. Curiosity without breaks. Let's start. Sin learned differently from Lu. Lu remembered everything in her head, then applied carefully. Sin applied immediately, then thought why it did not work. He made many mistakes, but he remembered the mistakes. Once he spoiled a copper smelting. Wrong proportion of charcoal. Why did it not work? He asked Haun. Too much charcoal. The temperature is higher, copper oxidizes. How not to make too much? Experience. Feel the color of the fire. Color? The right temperature, the fire has a certain color. Haun showed. Like this. Too hot, like this. Sin watched, memorized. The next smelting was correct. I watched the color, he said, victoriously. Good. Will you teach me to make bronze? Later. First copper well. Why later? Because bronze is more complicated. Pause. First the base, then the complex. Sin thought. Like in hunting, he said. First a hare, then a deer, then a boar. Exactly like that. The ability to transfer principles from one to another. A sign of a flexible mind. Teh, a woman of the tribe. 30 years old, silent, with a sharp gaze. Something in her similar to Kyra in the first days. The same closedness, the same assessing distance. Kyra noticed herself. Haun saw Kyra chose Tae. She began to work with her specially. In the evening he asked, why exactly Tae? You see how she looks. Like you looked before. Yes, and? Such people are either enemies forever or the most loyal, said Kyra. There is no middle. Do you want to check if she? I want to give her a chance to become loyal. Kyra was doing the same thing Naya had once done for her. A circle. T did not hurry. For a month she watched from a distance. Then she came herself, to Kyra, in the evening. She brought a poorly tanned hide. She placed it in front of Kyra. She did not ask a question. She simply placed it. Mine is bad, you know how to do it better. Show. Kyra took the hide, looked. Tomorrow morning, she said. T nodded, left. The next day they worked together without extra words. Kyra showed, Tae did. Haun watched from afar. 2 women who speak more with hands than words. They understand each other. After a week, Tae became Kyra's shadow, everywhere nearby. She listened, watched, did. The next elder of this tribe, said Haun to Kyra. Yes, she agreed. You saw it immediately. I saw. How? The back, said Kyra. Such people stand in a special way. They know they carry weight. They just do not yet know what exactly. Chapter 11. The first harvest in the valley. The harvest at the end of the 3rd month. Small, the first is always small. But it was. Golden grain in the morning light. Little but real. Raj came to the garden, looked, touched the stalks with his hands. Then he plucked one ear, rubbed it in his palms, looked at the grains. The earth gave, he said. Yes, itself, with help. But it gave. Rog was silent. Last year we had little meat in winter, he said. Bad hunting, snow came early. We almost starved. I know. If there had been this, he pointed at the grain, we would not have starved. Exactly. Raj thinks how this works, said the elder, suddenly switching to the 3rd person, which meant seriousness in his tribe. You sow a little, you get a lot. 4 to 5 times more than you sowed, every year. And every year sow again. Yes means no more leaving. In winter there is food. The animals left, it does not matter. Yes. Rog raised his gaze to Ha-un. You changed us, he said. The same words Naya had said 11 years ago. You changed yourselves, said Ha-un. I only showed. The same thing, not the same thing. Why is it important? Because when we leave, you will continue without us, said Ha-un. If you yourselves changed, you will continue. If I changed, you will stop when I leave. Rog thought, a smart answer, the right answer. This is the same thing, said Rog, with us. Ha-un remained silent. Maybe it is. 6 months from leaving Ash, evening. Ha-un and Kara by their separate small bonfire, aside from the camp. A habit from the road. Mountains above the valley. Stars bright, many. Tomorrow we need to talk to Rog, said Kyra. About what? About the fact that we are leaving. Pause. Early, said Ha-un. No. Kyra looked at the fire. They already know what is needed for the nearest time. Pause. If we stay too long, they will become dependent. She is right. She sees it before he does. Chin has not finished learning. Sin will never finish learning, said Kyra. That kind of person. He will learn while he is alive. Pause. This is good. He will teach others. Tay? Tay is ready. Pause. She does not know it yet, but she is ready. Ha-un looked at the sky. 6 months. The tribe had grown not in number, in knowledge. First harvest. Copper knives among the hunters. Sin's children, he took his younger brothers, began to learn the signs. The writing of Ash went out into the world. Kyra. Yes, where next? Said there is a large tribe in the north. Pause. The traders who came to us said the same. Large means strong. It may not accept. Or it will accept, said Kara. A large tribe means many people who can be helped. Kara's logic. Simple, direct. Are you not afraid? I am afraid, she said. Directly, but we came here. We came. Means we will go there too. Silence. Fire quiet. Kyra. What? Do you miss Ash? Long pause. Yes, she said. Lu. As. Old Pause. The mornings on the hill. Me too, I know. How? It is visible, said Kyra. Sometimes you look in that direction, to the west. You think what is there? There everything is good? Yes, pause. Lu is managing. She will manage. Are you sure? I am sure. The bonfire crackled. Aura. Yes, I am glad I went with you. Pause. Rare from Kyra. I am glad you went, he said. I know. Kyra. What? You always say, I know, when I say something. Because I know. This is a little. What? Nothing, said Ha-un. She laughed quietly in the darkness by the fire. Kyra's laughter, rare and real, like the first snow. Ha-un looked at the fire and thought that this was one of the best places he had been. Not Ash, not the library, not the past life. This fire, this woman next to him, mountains around, stars, the present. The next day they talked with Raj. Kyra spoke. Ha-un nearby, supporting when the language was not enough. Rog listened. He was not surprised. Smart elders understand when guests leave. He would have been surprised if they had stayed forever. When? He asked. In 3 days, said Kara. We will finish what we started. What have we not finished? I will show to one more thing. Ha-un will work with Kin some more on smelting. Pause. And we will make supplies for your next winter. We will show how to store properly. Rog looked at her. You are a good person, he said. Kara did not answer. For her praise is like air, not needed but does not interfere. Rog, said Ha-un. Yes, keep Sin close to you. He is smart, he said. When new people come who will pass this road later, he will show them what he knows. Do you think they will come? I know they will come. Rog looked. Means this does not end with you. No. Pause. It never ends with one person. That is the point. 3 days of work, then the morning of the 4th day. Preparations, bags. Az's axe over the shoulder. Sin came to say goodbye. He stood, looked at Ha-eun. Aura. Yes, will you return? I do not know, honestly. If you return, show bronze. I will show. Do you promise? I promise. Sin nodded. He stepped back. He did not say thank you, not his language of gratitude, but he nodded. That is enough. T approached Kyra. She said something. Quietly. Kyra answered. Also quietly, Ha-eun did not hear. T nodded. Left. What did she say? Asked Ha-eun. She asked how to become an elder. And you? I said you already have become one. She just does not know it yet. Kyra was doing what Naya had done for her. Without words. It simply was. They left the valley, the road again. Mountains ahead, north, the large tribe is there. Ha-eun walked and thought. Ash, the beginning, the valley, the second. How many more? It does not matter how many. While it is possible to go, we go. Kyra next to him, even step, looks forward. Aura, yes, look. He stopped. He looked where she pointed. On a high stone above the road, a bird. Large, dark, with wide wings. An eagle, it looked down, at them. Then it spread its wings, it flew up. It rose in circles higher, higher, until it became a point in the blue sky. Then it disappeared. A good sign? Asked Ha-eun. I do not know, said Kyra. Beautiful, enough. Yes, she said, enough. They went further. The road ahead, long, open, real.